man, she just told me someone said that I clap like sea lion in the comments, and that's disrespectful. Okay, you're supposed to come to this channel and be respectful. Sold Out for Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. I got the wife with me.
Hello.
Always a fun time. We got Duncan Trussell, Joe Rogan, and they're doing one of those snowball talks, but they get into some stuff that I wanted to talk to you about. Not a lot of research on this, man. We're going to cover some cool websites, but they just start talking about being able to switch bodies and what's that's going to be like in the future, you know, because there's the whole AI premise, right? But then there's the premise of like what's going to happen with CRISPR and things like that.
Yeah.
And what are people going to be able to do with their genes? And then they start talking about the great awakening of people and what that actually takes, how the negative actually is vital in that whole process, which I agree with. And then Duncan just gets into some spiritual stuff, because I don't know if you know, but Duncan's like a serious Buddhist.
Oh, really?
Like very, very serious. Like he studied with some incredible people. So let's get into that right now. Let's switch it up here. Had Andrew Tate on the screen for a second. You don't forget about Sold Not For Sale. We got the Sold Not For Sale. We got the Great Reset. And we got what I'm wearing right now. Discount code, I am Coach Colin. Let's get into this clip. Turn it up.
Cool. I love it, man. I welcome it. I can't wait to see the hybrid humans that are going to just be right around the corner, man.
There's going to be some wild people.
Wings.
Yeah, for sure, wings. That's going to be the first thing. Who doesn't want to be an eagle, man?
Fucking wings, man. I want wings.
Who doesn't want to jump off a building? Just
Oh, dude. Unfold your wings when you go on stage. The going on stage. We descend down on the stage. You don't walk through the curtains.
Do you think you'd even want to go on stage if you could
Yes.
fly?
Are you fucking kidding me? You know how many funny
I'd just be
jokes
flying
you could
all
do
day.
if you could fly?
I'd just be flying all day.
No, you wouldn't. You would still do stand-up.
I would want to get long toenails so I could catch a salmon.
That'd be the funniest thing. You're fishing and Joe Rogan swoops down and grabs your salmon.
Try to snatch him before the bear gets to him.
Dude. Dolphin. I want to go aquatic, baby. You stick to the skies, I'm going under. I want to
That's a good
get
move.
down there and explore and just go into the sea.
Yeah.
There's a book called Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin, and they talked about how there's wizards who can turn themselves into dolphins. But the problem is if you stay a dolphin long enough, you forget that you're a wizard and you never come back to being a wizard. You just stay out there. So people would be disappearing into the ocean. Like, I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to be a whale. And then you're just like, that was a dream, the whole human thing. I'm just going to stay whale, swim around. That's what that's what God did. See what it's like to be some limited thing. It's that great Alan Watts essay. See what it's like to be some limited fucking thing on a planet floating in the middle of nowhere. You don't want to remember I'm God. Just going to fucking plod around for a little bit.
Well, if we're a part of everything and the universe is God, that's what I think. I've been thinking about that more and more. Like this idea that God created the universe. Maybe the universe is God. I mean, doesn't that make more sense if it's everything? If it's everything is one thing?
Yeah.
And then your role in it as a thing, as an intelligent thing, is getting whatever you are to a point where you transcend physical space.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You become the final bunny. And that's, I think that's what all of our cultural struggles, all of our struggles over resources, they're all the battle that keeps us moving against it to further and progress the human race. Like all the outrage about like those professors that weren't capable of saying that calling for the death of the Jews is hate speech or is harassment. All that is there to get people outraged enough that they realize, oh my, this is insanity. We have to change the way we think. This is fucking insanity that this discussion is actually being had in 2023. But if it was subtle enough that it didn't freak you the fuck out, it wouldn't be good enough for change.
Dude, it's like you. First, though, you got to get a taste of it. Like, it's the saddest video. I hate it. You ever see that video of the polar bear when it snows? He's in a zoo, and now it's snowed, and the polar bear is rolling around in the fucking snow. Finally, everything makes sense to the polar bear. It's designed for snow. Right. There's snow. It's been in this snow-free environment.
Yeah.
So if we're the universe and simultaneously singular individuals, then we're made to be much more than we are. And if you're all squashed into your fucking body, the moment you just get any kind of respite from that, you remember, you're going to be nicer to people. Like if you and me are living, we're tight friends. But if you and me are living in a bachelor pad, how long before you start fighting, man? How long before you start irritating the shit out of each other?
Well, you and I lived together for 6 months.
You had a big ass house.
But we didn't irritate each other.
No, I'm saying
It was fun.
if you take any, I don't care, take the Dalai Lama and Ram Dass and put them in a tiny little fucking room.
Right, they'd eventually get on each other's nerves.
So if you're living in a compressed reality where you've become convinced that you are all you are, your body is only you, then naturally you're going to panic. Naturally you're going to feel claustrophobic. Naturally you're going to be a dick. So if suddenly you had a realization that no, you're everything, you're more than that. The next thing spontaneously that will emerge from you is kindness, compassion. It might not be like, you might not become the sweetest person on earth, but shit people say to you is not going to hit as hard. Because like if you were in a dream where somebody was insulting you in the worst way possible and you thought it was real, you're getting your feelings hurt over and over again in the dream. And then you remember, oh, I'm going to wake up. This is just a dream. That insulting thing isn't going to hurt as much. It's not going to hit you as hard. You're not going to take it personally. So you're totally right. It's like the moment people start remembering what we are, everything will shift. Everything will change. Everything does change because everyone's fucking suffering so much. You know, these fucking professors, whoever the fuck it is, whoever's belting out outrage and anger and whatever, you can be certain of one thing: they don't feel great. They don't.
There's no way.
No fucking way, and that's sad. And
also, how many of them are medicated?
Oh my God,
it's so normal for people, whether it's in academia or just in many jobs, to be on SSRIs, to be on anti-anxiety medication, to be on mood stabilizers, to be on this or that, Adderall, and I have ADHD, turns out, just need a little bit of Adderall. And how many of these people they're not even capable of stepping off whatever path they're on to rationally or objectively assess whether or not the way they think makes any sense at all.
Dude.
They're on a runaway train, just wee down the tracks.
Yeah, man.
And they're running major educational institutions.
Yeah.
Legacy ones.
Dude, I think this is the status quo. This is how it's always been. Anytime you are in the world, you're around people who are sleepwalking. That's just part of it, because part of being in the world is you sleepwalk at first because you're waking up from infinity. You're like a fucking baby coming out of infinity. Yeah. So you're sleepwalking at first. You get culturally conditioned. You get programmed. And then somewhere along the way, maybe you start realizing, wait, this isn't me. I don't have to be like this.
Right.
By the way, so I can get it off my fucking mind, can I pitch my book?
Please do.
It's like eating me alive, because then it's making me feel like a fucking asshole. I have an audiobook that I did with one of my friends, Raghu Marcus, who runs the Ram Dass's Foundation, the Love Serve Remember Foundation. He was with Ram Dass in India with Neem Karoli Baba, this great saint and guru. And he's been my friend for years. And so we recorded this audiobook called The Movie of Me to the Movie of We. That's it. It's just an audiobook. You could even think of it as like a podcast, basically. But he's just so brilliant, and he's just been living in this like world, and was lucky enough to meet this person who like was incredible.
What is this book about?
So this book is about, it's kind of what we're talking about. It's like I know you know this experience because you're so generous and you give. But if you're not giving, if you don't like, if you get too caught up in like serving yourself, if you get too compressed in the identity, you start defending, you start trying to like always placate yourself. Mm-hmm. So, but the moment that you start helping the moment you sort of expand your idea of who you are beyond your body, then at least in my experience as a like professional, selfish person, suddenly you feel this liberation. It's the most incredible thing. And so this is just like, we just talk about all the stuff at these Ram Dass retreats that I go to, and all of the like sort of mystical teachings that have emerged from all over the world that sort of point in the direction of how to sort of get the fuck out of this movie that you're in, where you're the main character, you're the main fucking character, it's a shitty fucking movie, you don't even want to be in the role. It's this guy Krishnadas came up with an idea, which is that you wake up in the fucking morning, you're the main actor in a fucking shitty goddamn movie, and you're not just acting in the movie, directing the fucking shitty movie, then you're writing reviews about how much the movie sucks. That's the movie of me. And so the moment you sort of step outside yourself and realize, we're sharing the stage here together, or even better, we're the same consciousness that's gotten confused by the proximity of our bodies, then the movie changes into, instead of being Evil Dead 2, it becomes some, I don't know, whatever you want it to be, rom-com, porn.
Duncan Trussell, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, he's actually a very, very spiritual guy. So it's funny that he has the path of like a comedian.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me, and my buddy Kevin hates comparisons, but he reminds me a lot of Kevin. 'Cause Kevin's very, very spiritual, but then also this comedian, and then also this nomad who'd like rather be fixing cars than doing comedy, but then also like into Ram Dass as well. Like, just weird. Even looks like Ram Dass. Like, if you want to know what Ram Dass looks like, he looks like my friend Kevin.
That's funny.
Identical. Bald, big beard, glasses, all that stuff. It's interesting. He actually had a picture of Ram Dass, and I was like, oh man, like that's like, so you've had that for a while? And he's like, yeah, of course. He's like, love Ram Dass. I was like, oh, I thought that was you. I'm like, I thought that was just an old picture of you. He's like, no, that's Ram Dass, man. Like literally thought it was him. But yeah, that was the thought snowball that they went on there.
I like it.
Now, what started them on talking about people being able to edit their genes and become whatever, they were talking about those people, you've seen them, where they're 5'7", and they put those bars in their legs.
Oh, yeah.
And then they jack it up little by little so they can be like 5'10".
Because they identify as a tall person.
Yeah, exactly. Because they want to be a tall person. And yeah, they were just talking about those guys and if those guys are ever able to run again, or like, what's that like for them.
I saw some guy who did that who was like already over 6 foot.
That's exactly who they bring up.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he just
wanted to make himself like 6'7", I think.
Yeah.
Like, it was absolutely insane.
It's so funny you brought that up. That's exactly the channel that they bring up.
I just remember seeing it on like Instagram or something, and I was like, this has to be a joke.
Yeah. He brought it up on Instagram. He's like, look at this guy.
It's crazy.
Like, why do you do that?
Yeah. And then the guy's like pretty like muscular.
He's an athlete already.
Yeah.
He's good.
So his whole upper body after the surgery was still
big,
like toned.
Because he was still working out.
Yeah, and then he had these skinny little legs because he had to recover.
Yeah, they were showing him walking around.
Yeah, he was
like,
talking about like his
arms.
like leg workout that he had to do just to be able to like stand and walk now.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you put yourself through that?
Makes no sense.
That's a major surgery.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Girls are good. Once you're over 6 foot, they're good. They're not complaining.
And I think he's married.
Oh, wow. That's even worse.
Yeah, because the original video I saw was like showing his wife how tall he is now, like standing up for the first time.
And his wife's like, okay, yeah, good,
yeah, great.
right,
Another,
right.
I don't know, 3 inches. You're already a foot head, like a taller than me.
Thanks, great. I have to bring groceries in though, right? Okay, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
I got your crutches.
And you spent how much? That was 70 grand. Great.
And I'm the one that has to twist your leg
Oh,
things and
my
break
God.
your leg slowly. Yeah, very interesting. But that got them into the conversation of being able to like switch bodies and stuff.
Yeah,
so I
that's
guess let's
crazy.
just touch on everything thing by thing because
Yeah.
it's just very interesting to me. So we were talking about mainly focusing on that, on people being able to switch and what that would be like.
Yeah.
And Duncan brought up something very interesting to me when he said, I'm going to be a dolphin. That would bring up a major breakthrough in exploration.
Yeah, that's true.
If it was possible,
yeah.
right? So if there's giants out there in the mountains, like somebody could become a...
Mountain goat.
I was going to say an eagle.
Nah.
But yeah, you can be a mountain goat.
Or like a mountain lion.
Or that.
That'd
or
be
that,
cooler.
Or that, right? And then you could become that and go and travel,
Yeah.
and just figure it out. Going into the ocean. But that'd be so dangerous. You're a dolphin now? And
Yeah.
there's sharks.
I don't think
Sharks don't know you're really a person.
dolphins don't usually get attacked by sharks
I
because
guess.
they're normally in like schools. But I wonder, like, if you would become a dolphin, would you also know how to communicate?
Probably not.
Or would you just like be speaking English,
Yeah, basically.
but in like echolocation?
It would be like when you know another language, but you still think in your language. And you'd have to think of how to get that across.
Yeah.
Right? It's very interesting.
I was
Very,
laughing
very
so hard at Joe doing the
The eagle?
flying.
Joe Rogan as an eagle hunting salmon.
Yeah.
Stealing it from people as they're reeling it in. How interesting is that?
That'd be hilarious.
That is what he would do. He'd still be in the forest.
Yeah.
He'd be pecking away at elk and whatnot.
Oh my
any
God.
any chance he could get,
Yeah.
you know? And then you're like talking about them being like little boys.
Yeah. It's funny.
That's how you get when you're with your friends.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's why I love doing this with you. Yeah, you want to do it with people you're close to. That's why Duncan's on the podcast so much.
True.
Because he's like,
because they just have a good time.
He's like, I could do this scientist, or I can just have my friend on.
Yeah.
Make the same amount of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like what?
And I love that. Joe was like, we did live together for 6 months.
Isn't that interesting?
Kind of a bit different than like sharing an apartment.
Yeah. Duncan's like, you had a big house. You have a really big house. And he did. Huge house. Still does. You're able to see it. I actually saw it out in Texas. It's huge. It's huge. I'm not friends with Joe. I don't know him. Just you're able to Google it and see it.
Yeah.
For somebody.
Yeah, they probably didn't see each other for weeks.
Yeah, probably didn't have to.
No.
Especially
exactly.
comedian life. Like, you don't have to. You just sleep.
Yeah.
You sleep. You wake up. You smoke if you smoke. You hang out. A lot of comedians don't do. I know so many comedians. They don't do anything when it's daytime.
Really? Yeah,
they're just, unless they have a job, they're just like, all right, I guess I'll write. Or I guess I'll sleep until 4. Like, you come home at 4. You're like, I'm gonna sleep until noon. And then I'm just going to putter around until 6, and then I got to head out to the clubs.
That's crazy.
That's the life. It's wild. Kevin, again, he's the only one I know where I'll message at like 9 a.m. and he's up. I'm like, what are you doing?
That is surprising.
He's like, I don't have to go on stage every night, man. He's like, there's no need for that.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. Like, that's the life.
That actually makes sense. Like when I was a waitress, it was kind of like that too.
Yeah.
Like you'd leave really, really late, go home, go right to bed, and then sleep in.
That's why it was cool when I was in film. And you were still doing your thing in the restaurant. Yeah. Because we were still, and I would do comedy, and we were still like seeing each other easily. Yeah. Because we were living that same life. It was pretty. Now it's a little harder. Now
I was saying now that would kill me.
I'm a full blown husband now. Can't do stuff like that. No. But eventually, you'll come with me. We'll do something. I gotta go to the clubs. I gotta get on stage.
I'll just be sleeping in the corner.
Yeah, something. Green room.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm connected now. But let's get into it. Let's start talking about the one thing he brought up really early in the podcast. I have to say, before we get into the body switching and the articles we found, he brought up a whale, like the wizards that become whales, and then they forget. And I liken that to humans. Humans are like that.
In what way?
Well, it's like we come here and we become humans and we forget what we really are. Going back to like the whole talk that I had with you about how we're more significant than we're taught. Yeah. More significant than we know. Because we come here and we forget. We forget completely what we were beforehand. Yeah. And that we, some people talk about people choosing to be here. They look down and they see a job or a mission or a lesson that needs to be taught or learned or something that needs to be done, and they choose to come down here. Yeah. And then they forget. And then slowly, like he talked about it, near the end of it, you're kind of like sleepwalking until you like start waking up to things. If you're lucky enough to like go through like, mushrooms and stuff like that, you get a little bit of a nudge. But a lot of people end up sleepwalking the whole way through. You just forget. Yeah. You forget, and it's hard to convince people, especially with the lives that we lead, that we're super significant. It's hard to put that into somebody.
There's a Disney movie that I tell you that you have to watch all the time called Soul. Oh, and it's literally that. Like there's these little like energy orbs that are in, I don't know, the skies, like above the earth is where they show them. Okay. And they have to, before they can come down to earth, they have to find their passion, their life's passion. So then when they go down, that's like a new baby. Oh. And then the baby's born and they're supposed to like live out their passion. That's the whole point. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. That makes me want to see it more.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Anytime she brings up these animated movies,
he's so
especially
not into
like
it.
Disney, I'm just like, nah, I don't know.
But it's really good.
Especially a new Disney movie, I'm like, I don't know.
It's so cute.
But this one sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
It was a good premise.
Because that is what it feels like, I find that as you start finding your path, at least for me, it feels more and more natural.
Yeah. And everything else lines up in your life.
Yeah, when you start doing it.
Yeah.
When you start moving towards it.
It's like positive affirmations from the universe.
Yeah. it's like it just starts clicking things together for you. Like, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
Like, this is good. Even when it feels like dark, like even when it feels like this can't possibly be what I'm supposed to do, things start working out and you're like, okay, this is weird. Or, you know, like for me, for so long doing Uber Eats and stuff, it's like you're not making the most money, but for some reason it feels good.
Yeah.
You know, it feels good. Like what you're doing feels right.
Yes.
Even though it doesn't look right, like on paper, on the material that we kind of give all this power to.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like I say it all the time. You worked in restaurants, and then that led you to hospitality in the other field. And I think that's going to lead to something else.
Yeah.
And I think you don't even realize it.
We'll see.
I think it's going to go somewhere for sure. Like I think it's going to be something. Like, there's reasons that we learn all these things and that they come natural to us and we excel in them.
Yeah.
You know? I think so. And the thing about sleepwalking through life, you know, I brought up psychedelics, but I think another thing that nudges you awake is love. I think someone loving you loving someone, that connection, I think that also shakes you awake a little bit.
And I think it depends who as well. Like,
of course,
it helps to see your own potential when somebody else sees it in you.
Yes.
Because it opens your eyes to possibilities.
Yes, definitely. Opens your eyes to possibilities, and also opens you to possibilities, your potential.
Yeah, it just makes you believe it.
Yeah, because a lot of times with people, I was just talking to my buddy about this, a lot of times with people, you already have, like, if you look at your life, you know, a lot of times, at least from what I've seen in people, what I experience, a lot of times you're circling around. You know, it's not really linear, your life. You're kind of circling back. And you kind of feel like this is the thing, this is the natural talent I have. But often we think it can't be that simple. It can't be that it's already this God-given thing that I was born with that I'm supposed to do. It's like, no, there's a course I'm supposed to take, or a degree I'm supposed to get, or a thing I'm supposed to learn. And then you go through all those things, and then you end up back at the thing that you're like naturally good at. Like if you're really willing to like look at your core of who you are and like the thing you've been good at for so long, you kind of just keep on going back and you say, yeah, it's not that simple. And then you get back to it. It's not that simple. And you get back to it. And the whole time, usually, what you could do, what your true potential is something that you've had all along. Yeah. It's just been there.
Yeah.
You know, I was lucky enough to actually ask you and ask people. I was in coaching programs and stuff. And my own coach, who's like a good friend now, the people were just telling me all the time. Like I was just lucky enough to just kind of hear it. But people just kept telling me. And then again, back to love, like I had you, and you would tell me, and then some random person would tell me, and then a random person, and a random person, and then someone I love and respect, and it was like, okay, maybe this is real. Maybe this is real. Maybe I'm really good at this thing. Maybe it's true. You know, like it's interesting. Yeah. Like even right down to when I started really going hard on the channel, I remember writing down a bunch of things and going to my coach, going to you, and a bunch of people, and right away I was just I was telling my coach, who's like a good friend now, my buddy Oliver, who's going to be on the podcast. I'm probably going to be on his podcast. I was telling him, I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying to get a read from people of what they think I'm good at. So I have a list of things. And he goes, oh, you in front of camera all day, you should be in front of the camera.
That's so nice.
He goes, that's the only, he's like, obviously, he's like, when you're learning and having conversations, he goes, that's it for sure. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, I know you want to be a coach and everything. He's like, but for sure, in front of camera. He's like, that's your thing. And I was like, okay.
All right. And
I kept hearing the same thing over and over again. So I hope everybody finds their thing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Great. It's essential. If it's real, like you're talking about that soul thing, if that's real, and you have a life thing that you're supposed to be doing, you better, like, you got to find it. You don't want to just like get old and you got to find it. You got to pursue it. And again, I was lucky enough to find you. Like she helped me through this. Like I wasn't like, you know, I was not making the most money, and she helped me like get to this point. And who knows where this goes, how far it goes. Right. So I was lucky enough, and you can use this. And if we ever go to divorce court, you can use this.
Never will, honey. Don't worry.
Use this as evidence. I deserve half of the Spotify contract. But yeah, I hope everybody finds it, because yeah, sleepwalking through life is it's hard. It's really hard. Really, really hard. So I don't know. Another thing, and what do you think about all that?
I agree. I don't know.
All right. Well, I mean, the other thing that Joe was talking about was the pressures. He's like, that's why these bad things happen. And he was almost talking like, what I took it as, I've talked about this before, is the negative things that we see in the world are so necessary. You know, I think they were talking about God being a physical thing and having to experience all this stuff in order to like awaken, in a sense. It was part of what they were saying. And I always reference it in the sense of the great reset needs to happen in order for the great awakening to happen.
Yeah.
You know, the great reset of, like, you know, the elites doing whatever they're doing and then, you know, putting pressure on people. Like, that needs to happen in order for a great awakening to happen.
Yeah.
You know, like, you need pressure in life in order to move forward.
Yeah, true.
You know? Like,
because if you're asleep and nothing changes, you'll just remain asleep.
Yeah, comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, everything's just fine. So you need this really hard, dark pressure around you in order to wake you up. I even think of in the past 4 years how many people have like shaken awake.
Yeah.
And gone like, oh, I should have just been doing this thing the whole time. Or, oh, my job didn't really need me here. They just said they did. I could have been at home the whole time.
Yeah.
Or another person's like, wow, I could really work from home. Like, I want to find a thing that will allow me to work from home forever. You know, I spent so much time with my kids. That's what I really like doing. I didn't realize how much I love that.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's probably a woman right now who's like, I'm a homeschool teacher now. That's because cute. She like figured it out because of her kids.
Yeah.
You know, she probably has like a room full of like 15 kids right now. She's like, I'm the homeschool teacher. Like, I love this. You know, it takes hard things to like shake you awake. I don't know. That's what I think, at least. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
What have you experienced like that? Some of these podcasts, I'm using it to shake her awake, because she has a lot of great ideas. It's not just a nice voice. She has a lot of great ideas. So as we keep going, I got to get her more comfortable and like shake the ideas out.
I think I was woken up a lot as well in the past 4 years.
Yeah.
And I see things a lot differently, and that's from being around you as well.
Yeah.
Because you see things in a different way and always kind of challenge my opinions, and we have conversations like this, not only on the podcast, but just in our daily life.
Yeah.
So that's always good too.
True.
And I think it's important to keep people around you that you respect and that you can have different opinions from.
Yeah, dialogue.
So that you're able to open your mind.
True. Yeah.
Because if you're around people who just verify your own beliefs, then you're not going to learn and grow as a person.
Yeah, I was going to say yes men. You don't want to be around a bunch of yes men.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work.
Because it'll just, like, they break you down.
And then you won't do anything different with your life.
That, and also back to the conversation about pressure. Then when you actually get someone that opposes you, you're like... Yeah. Like, I've seen videos of that where somebody... like, one of these guys is, like, sitting at a college and they're finally confronting this, college kid. They're confronting their ideas and saying, why is this bad? Why is this... And they're like... they don't even know what to do. Yeah, they just get mad. Because they just parrot
some of them just what they've been told.
Yeah, some of them just start crying.
Yeah.
Some of them storm off. Some of them get violent because they're like, crazy. This has never happened before.
Yeah.
No one's ever questioned me like this.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting to see.
Even when I first met you, I was not used to people challenging me in that way.
Yeah, because you're always the boss.
Yeah.
She's always the boss. Always.
I am.
Where she goes.
Doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm the boss. So it's been, definitely a different experience to have to learn to be a little bit different.
Yeah, and answer things.
Yeah.
I've always had that. I grew up around a lot of older people, so it's kind of like, be quiet. Like, everybody's like 15 years older than you. It's like, you should kind of keep your mouth shut until you really have something to say, because otherwise you're 15 and someone's 30, you don't really have anything of substance to say until you got to listen enough, and then you're like, okay, I can say this. And it's like, okay, all right. And you got to keep like, like, everybody was always like a more intellectual than I was, because they were so much older, just based on life experience. And then slowly that changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so that was my upbringing, and then of course my mom. You know how my mom is. So you better have something actual to say around my mom.
Yeah. She won't hesitate to make fun of you and rip into you.
Yeah. Or just tell you to be quiet.
Yeah.
That happened a lot. And then what else about the podcast? You know what? Let's get into this body swapping stuff.
Yeah.
Let's get into it here. Let me bring this up. Weird swapping bodies. I know this podcast has been everywhere, guys. Like, we just bounce around here.
We're just having a fun day.
Yeah, you gotta have fun days sometimes. I was reading 1984 on the podcast, the last episode that was on.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. I had to read
Good
that.
for you.
Yeah. I wanted to read a little bit of it. I really think that should be done more. That's something that I haven't seen done on a podcast. You know, it's like required. It seems required.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems it seems like people should be talking about this way more instead of just like kind of touching on it. People should really be pointing it out, like where the connections are, and I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just me. But yeah, I swap bodies with somebody. So this is going back to what Duncan and Joe were talking about. You know, just being able, it kind of touches on it. This is swapping. They're talking about completely changing themselves in the eagles and dolphins. But I pick this because it's like we're starting to actually think about that type of thing.
Yes.
You know, and not just in TV shows and as premises to like sell Netflix deals and whatnot, like an actual, you know, science, quote unquote.
Like, so people are trying to like download their consciousness and things like that too.
Yeah.
So you can put it in a future body. Yeah.
And Duncan did touch on it where he was talking about people would like awaken. Like if you're more, he said you're more than that. Like if you wake up and remember who you are, you would instantly be more kind. And when they're talking about God being the universe and all this oneness and everything, you know, this kind of goes in line with that. As you swap bodies with somebody, if you could, you would become more kind, at least to that person, you know? Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the evidence is showing, even in this article.
Yeah. What was this about? This was hard to understand at first, right?
This was the one that was talking about racism.
Yeah.
So it says, intriguingly, using such technology promises to alter people's behavior afterwards, potentially for the better. Studies have shown that virtual reality can be effective in fighting implicit racism, the inherent bias that humans have against those who don't look or sound like them. Researchers at the University of Barcelona gave people a questionnaire called the Implicit Association Test, which measures the strength of people's associations between, for instance, Black people and adjectives such as good, bad, athletic, or clumsy. Then they asked them to control the body of a dark-skinned digital avatar using virtual reality goggles before taking the test again. This time, the participants' implicit bias scores were lower. So it's like they're like showing empathy towards different skin tones because they realize that it's the same as themselves. True.
Very interesting. And that could go a lot of ways. You know, that could end up like imagine you can do that all ways. You're not just like a random Black person, but you can actually go into the world, you know, maybe the metaverse. Maybe you could do this in the metaverse and see how people treat you. Yeah. And then go, you know, as a white person, see how people treat you, you know? But it could go the other way too. Like some white guy might be like, I would just be a basketball player. That was crazy. I was able to jump so high. What are you guys complaining about?
Just like makes it worse.
I was so strong. What are you complaining about?
Oh my God.
I could do anything. It was crazy. Women were looking at me left and right. Are you guys kidding me?
I had the biggest hands.
Yeah. They just started doing all sorts of things. But then also you could be like, you know, one of those super woke liberal Black people. And then, you know, become a white person, become a white guy. And then you have to go into the world. And then all of a sudden you see people treating you a little, because that would be a shock. Because right now we live in a place where if you are a person of color, you go to a lot of places and you'll be treated with not more respect, but it's a certain respect. where people don't want to offend you in certain instances. Whereas if you're white, people don't really care about offending you, you know?
Yeah.
There's even minor slurs that like no one cares about. White people don't even care about, that you could use around white people. And it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
But if you use slurs for a black person, it's like a big deal.
Anybody else, it's like, what are you
True.
doing? Anybody else.
True.
So it'd be very interesting to see. Like I did that experiment kind of where I was, you know, I always dress like this, and then I had those days where I was like wearing suits and stuff.
I was thinking about that.
I was dressed up. I remember this woman. She was like an older Filipino lady. She like held the door for me. And she was like, "You look very sharp, sir." And I was like,
"That's nice."
I was like, "Thanks." Okay. Like, what? Like they were so nice. It was so different. The person I was getting gas, the person there, I was pumping gas. Someone complimented me. I was like, "This is very odd. Mm-hmm. This is very, very different."
Well, it's a proven thing that people treat you differently when you're dressed nice.
True.
Even when, like, if I ever go clothes shopping, I try to look nice.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's like the pretty woman effect where they think you like can't afford things.
Yeah. I went into a suit place.
Yeah.
And I was dressed like that.
Exactly.
And it was such a different experience.
Yeah.
He was like getting things for me.
Exactly.
He's like, hold on a second. And like he ignored some older white guy. I was like, wow, man, you gotta go get that sale, bro. What are you talking to me for? Like I was just there. I was just browsing.
Yeah.
But it was it was crazy.
It's true.
It was nuts.
Dress up when you go shopping, people.
Yeah, you get treated differently. That's something. I want our son to do that. I want to like show him like, hey,
show him the difference.
Yeah, like there's a difference.
Yeah, it's just how you present yourself.
Because then it was the gas station right near us, right? And then the next day I was just like this, and everybody was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't hurt me. It's very interesting, but that would be good for people to experience on all ends. You know. Like I have my friend Hank. His name's Hank, right? He's Jewish. He does not look Jewish. He looks like all varsity, just looks like a dude. He doesn't look like a Jew. You wouldn't think he was Jewish at all. And he's been privy to conversations where people are talking about Jewish people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they think he's like Italian or something. They just think he's like from Wisconsin. They just think he's a guy. And he'll like hear what they have to say, and he'll be like, "Oh, okay." And he'll like bring it up, you know, but it's like he's had that experience so many times.
I forget exactly what the guy said, but there was one time when I was in university and I was just like standing in the grocery store line to check out, and the guy behind me said something like really like racist to me, like I was in on the joke with him.
Yeah, you're cool.
And I was like,
you're cool.
I was like 18, didn't know what to do.
It's interesting. Like if you could just be in different people's bodies, if you just had a week of doing that, you'd probably come out and be like, okay, we all have our issues.
Yeah.
We all have our things we go through. You know, again, like right now, people look at white people and they say they go through nothing and everything is just perfect. There's red carpet for them everywhere. But it's like they can tell you a completely different story if you're just willing to hear it, you know? Like I know for a fact, there's so many things that I talk about with friends and they're like, I can't say that. They're like, you can say that. I'm not going to be agreeing with you about that in public. And I'm like, and I can say it no problem if I want to. You know, it's everybody just has their things, you know, and I guess if we could go into the metaverse, that's one thing. But imagine you get to the point with CRISPR where you can really go and experience it out in the world. You can just go doot doot.
Yeah. You can just decide in the morning, like, what pants you want to wear, what skin tone you want to have.
Yeah.
That'd be insane.
Same way you do, like, a Facebook avatar. You're like, I'm going to have a beard. I'm
going
to have this.
Exactly.
I'm gonna have that.
You just build yourself an avatar for the day.
You just go out into the world and just see how people treat you and how I don't know. I think that would be really beneficial. Because I noticed that with myself, through all the experiences I've had, psychedelic-wise, there is this, you come out of it really feeling like exactly like what we're talking about. You feel like people are one, and you feel like everybody just doesn't realize it, but not like in a cocky sense, not like you're above anybody, but you just come away with like, there's something within us that's all the same.
Yeah.
Everybody has this part of them it's all the same. Whether it's connected I don't know. Feels like it, but everybody has something that's like all the same in them. Mm-hmm. And the quicker we could like see that, the sooner like all these divides would fade away and we could actually focus on the real problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the guy on my shirt. Yeah.
The real problem.
Yeah, the real problem. But then even he would be like, let's stop all this.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Let's stop all of this, gentlemen. Yeah. That'd be great. But yeah, let's get into it. What else? What else we got?
Do you want to go to the next article?
The next one? What's this? The Big Think one?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to that one.
So this one's talking about body swapping in terms of like Freaky Friday and things like that, which is interesting. And it was mostly talking about how it like wouldn't work. And the way they describe it, they have a paragraph in there. It says, what if you could accomplish such a feat? Unlike the relatively smooth physical transition in Freaky Friday, researchers have suggested that such an act would result in severe dissociation akin to powerful LSD. Your motor patterns would be different. The way you move through space alone would require an entirely new education. The idea that you just pick up where you left off in new skin is implausible.
Yeah, that's true. Like it would be like a completely new. You'd have to learn again.
Yeah, I was thinking about it in terms of like when people have like a spinal injury that they're recovering from, they need to like learn how to walk again.
Yes.
Because those neurons aren't like connecting or weren't connecting properly.
Yeah,
it'd probably be the same thing. You like wouldn't know how to move anything because it's different.
Or it would be, you wouldn't know. You would like the same way I know to do this. Maybe with someone else, it's like this.
True.
And it's like I'd have to like be like, okay,
like slow down your cursor speed a bit.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to figure it out, right? Like if you just jumped into an athlete, you'd be like,
oh my god,
you'd like knock things over.
You'd be like jumping things off the walls.
You'd grab things and be like,
break it.
Can I break this? I'd be like, I can break it. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
It'd be very odd.
And they also say like, since people's brains are physiologically different based on what their skill set is. Like they were explaining the difference between, for example, like a musician and a taxi driver have vastly different areas of their brain that are hyper developed.
Oh yeah, true.
So like a musician would be more the creative side, and the taxi driver has like a whole bunch of like directions, and like that part of his brain, the navigational side, is like massive. True. So if you were to switch those people, they would be severely limited in what they could do. So even if the taxi driver technically had memories of where he was going, he wouldn't be able to access them because the size of that brain center isn't enough to process it.
Whoa.
It's like going into like a computer with not enough RAM.
True. Yeah, huh. I right away I think of the opposite. Like what would happen if you had too much RAM for the computer?
Yeah. I feel like that'd be fine.
I guess.
Like there's never any issues with, like if you're trying to open one Word document on a supercomputer, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
But the other way around wouldn't be true.
Yeah, it would take a while.
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting to think about. The disassociate. It would be such a trip. It would be the big, like I've been through all the trips. That would be the craziest one.
Yeah.
If you looked and saw.
I was just picturing like if I woke up one morning, even on your side of the bed, I would be like freaked out. It would be weird. I was trying to think like if I woke up as you one day, and I was like, no, even if I was on that side of the bed, it would be weird.
Yeah. How weird would that be?
Yeah.
You get into someone's body and you're trying to do things. Like, wait a second. What is this? Like, oh, it's so stiff.
I'd be like, oh, I'm so strong. I can lift all the things.
Yeah, right? Oh, man. That'd be interesting to see what would happen.
Yeah.
Because if I got into somebody else's body, I'd be like, bro, you need to work out. We're working out right now. We're doing curls. Let's go. This is ridiculous. What else did we have? We had the mice one as well.
Yeah. They did a study on mice where they were investigating aging and how they could like either accelerate or reverse aging. And they actually figured this out.
That's so great. See, this is the thing. Like, this may not be talking about like switching bodies like we've been talking about for a little while. Well, we talked about a lot of things, but the fact that right now they are on version ChatGPT 1 of figuring out aging is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Because what happens when they get to 4? Like, what happens when they get to people? Like, Elon Musk took Neuralink from, I think, mice to monkeys to people.
Yeah.
Like right
True.
now, he's trying to get to people. Like they're eventually going to get to people.
Yeah. It says in the article, the astonishing finding is that there's a backup copy of the software in the body that you can reset. We're showing why that software gets corrupted and how we can reboot the system by tapping into a reset switch that restores the cell's ability to read the genome correctly again as if it was young. It doesn't matter if the body is 50 or 75, healthy or racked with disease. Once that process has been triggered, the body will then remember how to regenerate and will be young again, even if you're already old and have an illness. Now, what that software is, we don't know yet. At this point, we just know that we can flip the switch.
Huh. Wow.
Crazy, eh?
That's interesting. I think there would be zero young people that want to be old. Unless you're, unless you're 7 and you're like, I want to be an adult.
Yeah, but an adult is like 19.
Yeah. Yeah, in their mind. Would every old person want to go back?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I imagine you'd want to go back, like if you could do it selectively, just so that you don't have like health issues or aches or pains.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I would get that.
Maybe. Well, because once you do this, I would assume you would live longer.
Yes.
So it's like, does every older person want to live longer?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
I would just try and make it so that like you and I live the same exact amount of years, if that were possible.
She's going to knock my years off if I'm living hers. She's like, bring his down.
No, I would elongate mine.
Bring his down a little bit. Oh, man. No, we'd have to elongate. We'd have to... Yeah, because women usually live longer, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
And women in my family are old.
Yeah, right? I think everybody in my family is just old.
That's good.
Yeah. Grandparents got old. Dad got old.
Yeah.
Mom is... I was looking at... Because we were around your grandmother.
Yeah.
She's 88. And then we were around my mom. She's 70. And I'm like, my mom might be good.
Yeah, your mom's probably going to be better off than my grandma in 18 years.
She's like... She's still doing things.
But my grandma was at 70 as well.
She was like, she had a personal trainer. My mom has a personal trainer.
That's crazy. Good for her. And she goes to like Zumba and stuff, right?
Yeah, she works out like every day.
Yeah.
Like, she's up early working out.
Yeah.
Like when we were rolling around in bed, she was up working out. Isn't that weird? When we were like, get up. You get up.
Yeah.
You get up.
She's doing a workout.
She was working out.
Yeah. True. Christmas morning, 5 a.m. out doing her thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she was working on Christmas.
Exactly.
Like, wild. She worked for like 10 hours. It's interesting. I don't know, man. But yeah.
Everybody's a bit different though.
I guess everybody would want to... I guess you'd want to be younger. Especially if it's like you're 80 and you never got to really follow your dreams. It's like, let me just pull it back a little bit and let me go and do that thing I always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Let me do that for 10 years.
It'd be interesting if it was like... Because I'm trying to think of like... It would be negative effect on the population probably. Like if overpopulation is an issue, that would hurt it even more.
True.
It would be interesting if there were stipulations on it. Like if you reduce your age by 10 years, everybody in your line would be reduced by that much as well.
No, you couldn't do that. That'd be crazy. You can't do that. What they would probably do is they'd probably give you like 10 years, or they would do something of the sense of, it would probably be a limit on how young you could be. And then people would figure it out the same way people have figured out how to hack ChatGPT.
Yeah, it would,
and they would just do it in like a backdoor thing, and then like your mom ends up being a baby because she like, did it with some guy.
Because she did some like illegal thing.
Yeah, and now you gotta take care of your mom because she's a baby.
That'd be crazy.
She needs to be breastfed and stuff.
Oh my gosh. Ew.
It brings up a whole host of questions. Everything does.
Yeah.
Switching bodies, everything like that. Like when you're talking about like what Joe and Duncan were talking about, perhaps they would be like, well, you can't just switch back to a human tomorrow. You got to do a few years as a dolphin.
Oh gosh, I wouldn't do it.
You know, like who knows what they might put in there? Because we don't need you switching back and forth.
Yeah.
Like go have the experience if you're gonna do it.
What animal would you be if you had to pick one?
Dolphin is very. Here's the thing. I want to know what's in the ocean, right? But I also want to know if there's giants. I want to know what there is, because, as much as we think, I know it sounds ridiculous, is there giants, but if you were a bird, you're just flying around. Unless giants like to eat birds, I don't know. That'd be rough. But a bird, you can go and see everything.
Yeah.
You can go and really see everything. Even to think how a bird sees, like they're thousands of feet in the air and they're like looking like as if they're like looking like right there.
Yeah.
Like the way they have their vision. You'd really be able to see what's going on in the jungles, in the world, with people, uncontacted tribes, everything. But then if you're a dolphin, depending on how deep you can go, you can really check out what's going on.
Yeah.
I
feel like the ocean would be boring.
I don't think it would be.
I guess if you have like a dolphin senses,
I think
it would be good.
I think if you're a person, the ocean's boring because
you can't see anything.
Like George Carlin said, it's a big club and you're not in it. So when you get in there, they're like, not talking to that guy. I know what they do. But if you're a dolphin and you're in there, I think you'll see some things. I think you'll see some wild things.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know if I had to pick one. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what animal you would pick for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I'd pick.
I think I'd be like a leopard.
A leopard?
Either a leopard or like a grizzly bear. Something that nobody would mess with. And it's like, I'm not going to get eaten.
That's true.
I just want to hang out and do animal stuff and not have to worry.
And then then this is the funny thing. You switch and then it's like, imagine the hunger you'd feel.
I guess. Because, grizzly bears are massive. They need a lot of food.
Yeah, you'd be like,
and I don't like fish.
Right? Yeah, true.
It's a lot of berries.
And then all of a sudden, it's just like, you just want fish. You just have this, like, I need fish. And, like, you're just going to sit there for hours. And you're like, man, I wish I could do something else.
And fishing.
And you're just eating fish for a day. And you're like, oh, my God. It's hours later and you're hungry again. You're like, what the
That's
hell
how I feel
is
right
going
now.
on? But yeah, it's I don't know. I have no idea. What was the other one? Oh, this one.
The body modification.
Was there another one?
No, that's
Was there anything else in there?
No.
This one was the weirdest one because this is like the analog version of what we're talking about. These guys are getting these body mods. They're switching their eyes around.
Yeah, these people freak me out.
They're making their eyes black. They're like, this gentleman here filed his teeth.
Ugh, the pointy teeth. The cut tongue is disgusting.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's wild.
Ugh.
But so many, like this guy, he just like went tribal, I guess. This isn't even an animal, right? Like he just.
It says the zebra man.
Oh, okay. Is that what he is? Zebra man? Cool.
Yeah, I don't know if it's.
Right?
It doesn't seem intentionally like a zebra pattern. I think they just call him that.
Yeah. He doesn't know what he's doing.
He's just doing funny stuff.
He's having fun.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. This is like the analog version, like the long version. You're like, I want to be this. Very hard to reverse this type of stuff,
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
It would be rough.
I wonder if he can breathe through his nose.
Possibly.
Or if he's like always a mouth breather.
This guy filed his teeth
Ugh,
down
disgusting.
a substantial amount.
Looks like he removed a couple of them too.
Yeah, definitely. This guy, I'm gonna have to like switch to this.
Oh my God.
And then go down. And you're wondering like, why'd I do that? It's because he's like, I think he's naked or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's wearing like some kind of covering
skin.
That's so small but matches his skin, so it looks like he is.
Yeah, YouTube won't
no, I don't think they'll like that.
YouTube will just be like, you're disgusting. How dare you show people that? But yeah, this is like the analog version.
Yeah, that's weird. Ew, the tongue. It's disgusting.
It's wild. It's wild what people are willing to
Ugh.
do. But again, analog version. He's really becoming an animal. All that's left is like putting him in the forest.
Oh, he even has his like whole armpit tattooed.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
They go all the way. These people who want to do this, they go all the way. They do the teeth. There's one gentleman who did the eyes. Look at like this guy. This guy looks like a cat.
Oh, that's freaky.
Right?
I don't like.
He's put stuff in his cheeks. He has the teeth. He's put those piercings in to make it seem like he has
like whiskers.
Like whiskers. Like he's done a lot of stuff.
Oh no.
It's wild. But this is the type of thing that will be possible on a different level as the technology gets better.
Ew.
Like this is just what they can do with body mods and tattoos. So imagine once DNA, genes get involved.
That's wild.
You've never seen it. You've probably never seen it. My mom was like a movie buff, but you've never seen Dr. Monroe?
No.
Oh, it's like this movie where there's an island of people, but they're not switching voluntarily. It's like this doctor's making them into these hybrids.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Ugh. Next guy removed his ears.
Really?
Ugh. I guess he's a parrot.
There you go. Look at him.
He just has holes.
And he did the thing to his eyes here.
Ugh.
And the other one's blue.
That's so crazy.
I'm telling you, we're gonna have this. Like, these guys are like wild people. But I've said it before. You're gonna have the guy who's gonna have long jet black hair, as dark as possible, gold, shining gold streaks in it. He's gonna have Chris Hemsworth's face, and he's gonna have The Rock's body, and he's just gonna go all out. He's just gonna be that way. He's gonna be like, make me 9 feet tall.
Wow.
And give me feet like a lion.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's gonna go all. He's gonna put him in movies. Kidding me? We're all gonna want to see him in a movie. It's gonna be nuts. He's got perfect teeth. Not gonna do anything to his teeth. Just perfect. Just white, perfect teeth. That's what he's gonna like.
That's so weird. But yeah, things are gonna happen. Very odd.
Then on the woman's side, it's gonna be like Megan Fox, jet black skin, red eyes. She's gonna say, make me 9 feet tall. That's what I like. Golden blonde hair that shimmers and vibrates. Oh yeah. She's gonna have the feet of a what are those, like a falcon.
Oh,
she got falcon feet.
Falcon feet.
Yeah, people are gonna go all out. Watch. It's gonna be an interesting world we're gonna be in pretty soon, man. But what else you got?
That's it.
We're at 56 minutes here. If you've listened to this whole thing, good for you. Good
Thank
for you. You're a real podcast listener. You know, not many can do it, but for those of you that did, thank you so much. We have to get these people something.
Yeah.
Somehow I have to figure out how to prove that somebody listened to the whole thing and get them all something. I don't know what to do. But for now, you get love. Here you are. Here you go. But share the podcast. It helps tremendously. You have no idea. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And other than that, we're out.
Bye.